MegaPodTastic.
Good morning, MegaPodlings. It's Crazy Joe. I want to talk to you about a movie that's available on Blu-ray now. You can go down to your local store, wherever you get your physical media, be it your Target, your Walmart, Amazon, Best Buy. It doesn't matter. It's available everywhere. But it's a movie that I actually already reviewed on this channel. I reviewed it when it played in theaters, and I'll put a link down below if you want to go watch my initial review when it was playing down at my local movie theater, Water Tower Cinema. You can check out that review. But it is now available on Blu-ray. It was sent to me by our good friends at Universal Pictures, and I thank our friends at Universal for sending it to me. We're going to talk about the Blu-ray release of Freaky. Freaky starring Vince Vaughn and Kathryn Newton. I got to be honest, I'm not too familiar with Kathryn Newton. This is the only thing I've seen her in. So, yeah, I don't really know her so well. Actually, I think she was on Supernatural. But other than that, I watched Supernatural. But, yeah, I'm not too familiar with her. Vince Vaughn, however, very familiar with Vince Vaughn. This movie, Freaky, is the latest film by Blumhouse. And Blumhouse has become the name in horror in recent years. Producer Jason Blum's franchise of films. And the Blumhouse movies have been obviously mixed quality. You get your good ones and you get your bad ones. But generally speaking, they've been across the board mostly good. And the hallmark of Blumhouse is they make pretty good horror films on pretty small budgets. So when these movies are a hit, they make a lot of money because they don't cost that much to produce. And it's been a real winning recipe for them. So this one, Freaky, is the latest. It's kind of a comedy horror film, and it's a bit of a surprise. I'll get into the reasons it's a surprise in a minute, but it's sort of a spin on the old body swap comedies. Obviously, Freaky, the title, is a takeoff on Freaky Friday, and this film takes place on Friday the 13th. They could have just as easily called this Freaky Friday the 13th. Of course, they probably would have gotten sued by both Disney and Paramount, respectively. Or maybe it would have been protected by parody. I don't know. But you could have called this Freaky Friday the 13th and it would have worked. Because the movie does take place on Friday the 13th. And it's very much a Freaky Friday style body swap. The premise here is we have teenager Kathryn Newton, high school student, who accidentally, through the use of a magic knife, swaps bodies with a serial killer played by Vince Vaughn. So in this movie, we get to see Vince Vaughn acting like a high school girl because the killer is now in the high school girl's body and the high school girl is in Vince Vaughn's body. If you watch the trailer for this movie and just hearing that premise, obviously it's going to sound like this is a comedy horror with the emphasis on the comedy, because any movie that gives you Vince Vaughn playing a high school girl, you would imagine, I would think, at least I would imagine, you would imagine that the emphasis is on the comedy with a little bit of horror. That is where the movie is surprising. I told you this movie is a bit surprising. The big surprise here is that the emphasis is actually on the horror. This is more of a horror movie with comedy in it than a comedy movie with horror in it. That really took me by surprise because, again, Vince Vaughn playing a high school girl, I really expected this to be emphasis on the laughs, and that's not the case. In fact, this film is a hard R, and it's a pretty gory little film. This is the kind of movie where I think when I showed the trailer to my wife, who hates horror movies, I think she was initially just a little bit interested because it's a funny trailer. But then when I saw it and saw how gory it was, I knew it wasn't a movie for her, and I told her, "Ooh, you're not going to like this. This is definitely a horror film. It's definitely a gory horror film, not your style." But it is another win for Blumhouse. This is a very entertaining movie. They put out a movie. When did this come out? Did this come out in... This came out in 2020, right? This didn't come out past January. Yeah, this was a 2020 release. So I wouldn't say that this is the best Blumhouse release of 2020. I'd say that's still The Invisible Man with Elizabeth Moss, which is a phenomenal movie. Invisible Man, I think, is still the best Blumhouse film of 2020, but this was very, very solid. I definitely recommend picking it up. And on this Blu-ray, you get several special features. There's deleted scenes on here. You have some featurettes called Split Personalities, Millie versus the Butcher, Christopher Landon's Brand of Horror, and a feature commentary, which is a lot of fun. I did listen to parts of the feature commentary after I watched the movie a second time. Christopher Landon. Let's talk about Christopher Landon, the director of this movie. You may have seen some of his other movies. First of all, he's the son of actor Michael Landon. You know, Highway to Heaven, Little House on the Prairie, Michael Landon. It's his son is the director of this movie. Christopher Landon's already made a number of films, a couple for Blumhouse. He made the Happy Death Day films, Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You, the sequel. I do think the Happy Death Day films are a little bit better than Freaky. More entertaining, at least. But Freaky's good, but the Happy Death Day films were really something special. I'm really looking forward to a third Happy Death Day. I hope we get a third Happy Death Day. He also made a movie that I gotta be honest, I haven't seen, called Scout's Guide to the Apocalypse, which I hear is pretty good. So Christopher Landon is a talented director, and he's definitely a name to keep an eye on, because he's delivered, by my count, at least 3 slam dunks, and I hear it's 4. I'll have to check out Scout's Guide to the Apocalypse, but I hear that's just as good. So yeah, you of course get a digital code here, and this set comes with the Blu-ray and the DVD, and we have a slip sleeve, same artwork on both the slip sleeve and the inner disc. But there you go, and it looks great, it sounds great, high quality picture and sound. And you can see this movie's certified fresh by Rotten Tomatoes. So this movie was well received by critics as well. So yeah, I like this movie. I'm recommending it. I say go pick up the Blu-ray. You know, a lot of people who watch this channel are enthusiasts of physical media. And as I always say, the best way to keep physical media on store shelves is by buying it. You know, nothing speaks louder than your purchase. You have to support the things you love. We keep hearing how physical media is going away, and sadly that does seem to be true. But if you keep buying it and keep supporting it with your money, it'll stick around longer. Now, for those of you who aren't into physical media, you can of course buy this as a digital film wherever you get your digital films, whether that be Vudu, iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, wherever you get digital movies, you can get this. So that's still an option for you if you're not a physical media person. But I want to thank our friends at Universal Pictures for sending me this. This is a solid movie. It's a fun release. Vince Vaughn is very entertaining in this movie, as is Catherine Newton, who, like I said, I'm not too familiar with her, but she gives a good performance in this movie as well. And I dig this movie. It gets a high 5. I give this movie a high 5, and I say this is one you should definitely check out. Thank you, Universal Pictures, for sending me this. And everybody, keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas with the plastic feet. Keep wearing those pajamas. Tell everyone you meet. Keep wearing those pajamas with the back door flap. Keep wearing those pajamas. Don't open, it's a trap. Oh no, it's a trap. Some people call them PJs, some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander Adamas, but no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now we're having fun. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now the song is done.